the empty cupboard, living from the invisible. Good morning, beloved community. I am grateful for the abundance of life. Prosperity flows through me as spiritual gifts, meaningful relationships, joy, creativity, purpose, and material sufficiency. I'd like to tell you a brief story. Imagine you walked into the kitchen and you open the cupboard and you say, "There's nothing in here to eat." Then someone else walks up behind you and they say, "No, look, there's some rice, there's some pasta, and some beans, and look at all those spices, and even some vegetables." They open up the refrigerator and look what's in there, a partially peeled and cut up onion. That onion's been sitting there in the refrigerator, waiting patiently for this moment of destiny. And they say, "I can make something with this." Notice that nothing about the cupboard changed. Exactly what was in the cupboard when I looked in it and said, "There's nothing to eat," to the time where I can make something from this. The physical reality is the same. But what changed? Consciousness changed. One person saw scarcity and another saw possibility. This is how prosperity begins. I'd like to share a joke with you. A minister preached an enthusiastic sermon on prosperity. Afterward, someone said, "Reverend, I tried affirming money flows to me effortlessly, but nothing happened." And the minister asked, "Well, did you go to work?" "No." "Did you pay attention to opportunities?" "No." "Did you make a budget?" "No." The minister said, "Well, apparently the money is flowing effortlessly somewhere else." Prosperity consciousness still appreciates our practical cooperation. I think it's the fourth tenet. We've got to put feet on our prayers. Might be the fifth one. So what is prosperity? Quite often, we hear a prosperity sermon and it's all about money. Money does matter. And our material sufficiency does matter. We need food and housing, we need health care, and we need security. People need resources to live. But prosperity is so much larger than only our wealth. A person can have plenty of money. They can be rolling in it and still be living in spiritual poverty. I think we can look at some people who've been on TV and see how unhappy some of these very wealthy people are. Someone may have modest resources and possess extraordinary richness in friendship or creativity, wisdom, generosity, or purpose. I believe in the circle last week, someone shared a story about being in another country where people didn't have very much. And yet, they were so happy. They had such joy in their life, and they were willing to share what they did have, their time and a meal with a total stranger. Prosperity. True prosperity is the experience and circulation of sufficiency and abundance. It's not enough just to receive. Jesus says in John chapter 10, verse 10. I am come that they might have life, and they might have it more abundantly. Notice what Jesus said here. He said, abundant life. Not abundant possessions. Life. Abundant love. Abundant wisdom. Creativity. Abundant compassion. Abundant opportunity to serve. Abundant capacity to grow. Prosperity means becoming available to the fullness of life. Your spiritual gifts are prosperity. You possess forms of wealth that may never appear on a bank statement. Your compassion is wealth. Your experience is wealth. Your creativity is wealth. Your ability to listen is wealth. Your wisdom, your capacity to encourage someone, simple kindness, is wealth. Your spiritual insight, that guidance that we receive, is wealth. And think about this. Your presence can be prosperity for someone else. Just simply being there. I invite you to ask yourself this question right now. What wealth am I carrying that I have never counted? Gratitude changes our relationship with abundance. We talked about it last week in the circle as well. This power of gratitude. Gratitude says, I recognize what I already have. It's like looking in the cupboard and seeing all of those spices and the rice and the other things. It's making that shift. And gratitude helps us make that shift from scarcity to prosperity. It doesn't mean pretending we have everything we need. Gratitude is not denial of a legitimate need. But it is the refusal to let lack become the only thing that we see. When Jesus feeds the multitude, what happens? Well, something fascinating happens. He takes what appears to be insufficient for 5,000 people, two fish and 5 loaves, and he gives thanks. He gives thanks before there appears to be enough. This is prosperity consciousness. He begins with gratitude. Suppose you begin every morning thinking, I don't have enough. Not enough time, not enough money, not enough energy, not enough help. Your consciousness would become organized around the deficiency. Now suppose you begin with a different statement. What is available to me today? What is available to me today? Time, ideas, relationships, skills, opportunities, resources, divine guidance. The circumstances might be identical, but your relation to the circumstance is what changes. When consciousness changes, new possibilities become visible. This month we started out talking about faith. There is more possibility than I can see. Faith. And then we talked about joy last week. My inner life does not have to be controlled by my circumstances. And today, our prosperity says there is more abundance already present than I recognized. Faith opens the door, joy changes the atmosphere, and gratitude recognizes the gifts. Prosperity circulates them. Prosperity is not an accumulation. It is a circulation. Breath is abundant because it circulates. Try this experiment with me. Take a deep breath, gently and fully filling your lungs. And now that your lungs are full, try to breathe in more air. Can you do it? Okay, now breathe out. Now you can breathe in. You see, it takes the circulation to receive. You must give in order to receive. Blood, the blood that flows through our veins, it only sustains life because it circulates. It comes through our lungs and gathers oxygen, and then pumps throughout our body. And then it feeds all the cells on its way back to our lungs, completely blue. Not really. But it's void of the oxygen and then more oxygen. And so it's this total circulation process that feeds our body. Have you ever been to a pond that doesn't flow, that has no circulation, and smelled it, looked at it, and ooh? But what about one that's fed by a spring, that's got an overflow, and it's constantly, there's a trickle of water going out of the pond? And notice the difference, how clear it is and how clean it smells. The circulation. Love grows when it's shared. Wisdom grows when it's taught. Joy grows when it's given away. Money itself is healthiest when understood as a means of circulation rather than something we accumulate. We studied a book upstairs called The Energy of Money. It's a way of looking at what are we giving our attention to? Because money is so involved in everything that we do throughout our day, we can look at where our money's going and see what it is we're giving our attention to. The spiritual question around money is not what can I get, it is what wants to flow through me. And so we've been looking at a practical exercise so far this month. It's called the open hand. There's a link to it on the YouTube. I've started a playlist for Living from the Invisible. And in the description, there's a link to this exercise if you're interested in getting it. It's also on the newsletter, and it's on our website. If you go to unityofhuntsville.org and look for the blog section, you can see the exercise there as well, called the open hand. It's a 5-minute daily practice. Each morning, or whenever you face some uncertainty, just sit quietly with your hands resting open. Take a slow breath and then move through these 4 questions. What possibility might I not yet see? There is more here than appearances reveal. Where is joy or sacred goodness present right now? I receive the gift of this moment. What abundance is already available, and how can I circulate it? Thank you for the good already present. What is mine to do, and what is mine to release? I do what is mine to do. I release what is not mine to control. And then just sit quietly for a minute, simply being, become receptive and open. And then after the minute, affirm these three things. I trust divine order. I trust divine timing. Show me the next step. And so it is. Amen. So all that text is there on those links. At its deepest level, prosperity is not about possessing life. It's about allowing life to flow through us. We're not reservoirs meant to hoard divine abundance. We are channels. How freely can life move through me? If you like, you can close your eyes now. And count your wealth again. Not only your bank account. Picture your friendships, your wisdom, your laughter, your creativity, your capacity to love, your ability to begin again, your spiritual gifts, your opportunities to serve. And then silently say, I am prosperous. Not because everything is perfect, but because divine life is present. And where divine life is present, new possibility is always available. And now affirm with me if you like. I am prosperous now. I gratefully receive the abundance of divine life. I receive with gratitude. I give with generosity. And divine abundance flows freely through me. The empty cupboard. Living from the invisible. Thank you.